guys, this is Andy Wrong. I am once again back at it, to the gym every day. And if you've been watching me every day, you know that this shit is pretty repetitive and it's kind of the same shit every day. And that's just how it is when it's not exciting at all. You know, I thought being an entrepreneur was gonna be like, oh, get to quit my 9 to 5, but realistically, I'm working 24/7. It's funny because you know you think you're escaping the 9 to 5, but really you're now not I wouldn't say trapped, but really trapped in. Well, in the beginning you're trapped, but as you kind of evolve as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, then you start becoming actually having time freedom. But what happens a lot of times is actually like the goal isn't time freedom anymore. It's just to serve more people and provide them with greater solutions to bigger and more problems. So that's really what you kind of get in thinking that you're going for the money or the time freedom, which is kind of the two things, time freedom or money. And then you do it, and then what I hope is you end up, or the really good entrepreneurs end up being like, oh wow, I get to help people by providing my solution to their problems. And that ends up actually being much more fulfilling than, a check of 10 grand or whatever it is, or an extra 2 hours in your day. Entrepreneurship and playing the game of business ends up being the hobby, ends up being the shit that is the most exciting part of your day, or is the the hobby. Like, people ask me what my hobby is, and I'll just say, I don't have any hobbies. If you say work is a hobby, I guess work is my hobby. But a lot of people don't have the freedom to say that because they're working a job that they don't really fucking like. Because I've also been in their shoes. I've been a busser boy, or I guess that's what you call it, busser boy, cashier boy. I packed bags. I made dishes. I cleaned up tables. I served customers. I gave them, I did everything. I did absolutely everything. I followed along with the delivery person. I helped drop off orders at the hotels, apartments. Not safe at all, obviously. But I was with the delivery man, delivering Chinese food. I was packing up food. I was making the food. I wasn't making all the food, obviously, but when it got busy and there was not much people there, then I would help, with some fried rice or something, or I was mainly a cashier dude though. And during this time, I probably started, working in a restaurant when I was probably when I was probably able to walk. I'd say I was starting then, really, because I was at a very young age, especially my aunt. My parents not so much, but my aunt had a really huge influence on my life as far as getting my ass to work, whether you call it child slavery or not. It's just, she got my ass to work, and at the time I didn't know the lesson it was teaching me. Because at the time I was too ignorant to, obviously, I was young as hell, and I didn't understand those concepts of discipline, work ethic, and knowing what customer service is and all these things. Now it's just normal to me. Now it's well, you should be providing all those services. You should be doing this. It's that's a no-brainer. But to other people that have never done that, it doesn't click the same way it does for me. So, and it's the fucked up person I could be. It's I have a very fucked up work ethic at the things I actually like to do. So if I'm trying to learn, well, I just have not a lot of tolerance for shit I don't want to do. I just I don't care enough to want to try. If I did, I would try my absolute best, and I'd be the most competitive person at it. The thing about me is if I genuinely liked something enough, or at least wanted to devote, if I wanted to dedicate to something, it would be my sole focus in life. I wouldn't because Alex Hormozi talks about this in like an older video. And by the way, like older Alex Hormozi videos are fucking goated. His newer ones, not. I mean, the newer ones are cool, but I really like the older Alex Hormozi videos. I feel like they're a lot more raw, and they just like, I just love them way more. But to the point, he talks about focus, and he showed this kind of visual, and he had one big bottle of just, let's just say, water, and then he puts out 8 empty cups, like just empty cups. And what he does is he's like, okay, well, you have, let's say these are all the businesses that you're trying to run. Then he goes and pours and pours and pours, and then they're all like kind of not even half empty. And what happens is he explains, this is how your focus is diverted when you're focusing on many things. Now at the I guess at the micro level or at the macro level, if that's even what it is, or just at the big scale, focus on one thing. Okay, focus on one thing. So right now, that one thing would be entrepreneurship. But now let's simplify it even more. Okay, now let's talk about businesses. What type of business in entrepreneurship? Okay, well, it's just one business in entrepreneurship. And the reason why I'm kind of breaking it down that way is because people do entrepreneurship and also something completely different, like learn how to be a pro fisher and also be an entrepreneur. And honestly, I see that as a disability. I see like, I'm going to beat you every single time if I'm going to be committing 100% of my focus. Now we can break it down even more. And this is where people get fucked up on, because people think this is where the focus, can start diverting. Just because you filter down at that level doesn't mean that you still don't have to single out your focus. I think focus is the number one most valuable resource, not just of an entrepreneur, but anyone on this planet. People are like, the big companies like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok literally run off of your attention. Your attention is what drives their business. You know how crazy that is? Your eyeballs is what I pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for. You are the consumers, maybe not you, but most people are the consumers that make the guys who are producers rich. Just like in regular ecosystem, the producers always end up getting most of the shit. But back to what I was saying was, let's say you have a business. Well, there's many different models within that business that you can do. Okay, let's just say there's 3. Well, if you focus on all 3, none of them will work. Let's say you focus on 1. Well, now that model has maybe a handful of different marketing strategies. Okay, well, if you focus on all those marketing strategies, none will work. Okay, so even though I have filtered it to the point where we've gone down to the specific model and the specific marketing strategy, it still does not even really matter, because even at that level, even though you think at that micro level it's focused, it's still not. And this is where people get it wrong. And I'm also going to add another variable to this equation, which is time. Okay, so, and this is how great things are created. I'm just going to explain this even more granularly now. So now that we picked your marketing strategy, okay, now what is, I guess, well, let me think about it, hold on. So now that you break it down to the marketing strategy level, there's many different ways you can approach it. Now, it won't be like a couple different options, but maybe other things about the strategy that you think you should be doing, but aren't the biggest needle movers. Meaning you're doing shit, it still falls under that umbrella of that strategy. However, you're doing activities that don't primarily drive to move the needle in that specific strategy for that specific business for your company, if that all makes sense. So like even though you've broken that down to that level, there's still other things to consider. It's like you focus on that one strategy, and then you focus on the highest output per unit input of your time in that specific strategy. This could be different for obviously different businesses. However, it's pretty much the same concept. Is the concept of singular focus. Have I explained that well? is singular focus. I think, again, attention is the most valuable resource. I think nowadays, even mine, I would say my only fuck up right now is that I spend too much time at fucking night on doom scrolling and consuming. I ended up falling in that trap. I don't know why. I just get dragged there, and I'm on there for an hour. It affects my sleep, so next day, I had less deep sleep, less REM sleep. I had more time falling asleep, so I have more awake time. So my sleep wasn't optimized, and now I'm a little sluggish. I'm not saying I can't make great decisions, but I may not consider all the variables because I'm not as sharp as I am usually. And it's so crazy because it doesn't translate like that when I'm actually doom scrolling. It will only be these random spurts of oh fuck, what am I doing? Or it would just be I get so tired of doom scrolling that I just shut it off. And I'll say this now, and I'll probably scroll tonight. It's the fucked up shit that exists, and I would say it's definitely a fault of mine, and a lot of entrepreneurs don't want to admit is that or maybe it's just me with this fucked up habit. But my habit, or my bad habit, is that I end up doom scrolling at night. I don't scroll at work, because I guess if there was a smarter person, they would say because I'm distracted with something else. My attention is diverted somewhere else. Because I'm sleeping, my attention isn't diverted anywhere, so it ends up to get my dopamine, it ends up going to the phone. And I would say half the time it's productive. Half the time I'm just thinking about work, but half the time I'm just looking at cooking videos and just shit that I would forget in a couple days. Impactful stuff I get, but most of the stuff I really don't like. I couldn't tell you the last, even 50 shorts I watched. It's unbelievable, how fucked up our memory has become. It's really crazy. It's really crazy. Please have a spot for me, man. You fucking kidding me, dude? Please come out, dude. Are you gonna come out? Thank you. So if I could fix that habit, that single habit, that would be it. That would be that would be my perfect I would say that would be a perfect day right now. That's the only thing right now I feel I'm not locked in with. I would say that's the only thing I'm not locked in with is my power down routine. Everything else, morning routines, somewhat perfect. I get on my phone, but it's not I'm on shorts. I'm on Gmail or something, and I'm checking emails, responding to messages I miss. I don't really give a shit. That's it's not the most optimal. I can go in the sun, but what's most concerning is my night routine, which is me on the phone for an hour and a half before I fall asleep. One, it affects my REM. Two, really the scientific explanation is that it affects my melatonin production, because it's tricking my brain thinking it's daytime, so it won't produce as much melatonin as it would be. And I also, a lot of times I'll end up eating late because I just miss my window for dinner, maybe because I ended up scrolling for 20 minutes after work. It's what the hell, I gotta fix this shit. Today I didn't do that, which is awesome. It's not common, it's not a common habit, but I would say the night scrolling is definitely a very common habit. That's 99% of nights, unless I'm tired. I'm tired to the max then, but usually I don't get that tired. Is that a sign of me not working hard enough? Maybe it is, but I don't know. I usually don't. Yeah, I'm here already. I'm explaining to you guys after.